Welcome back to the 7th grade Mustache. On today's episode, we'll be speaking about the headmasters. The motivation for the word the headmasters on this episode is related to the way that there are organisms inside of our body that drive us uncontrollably, unconsciously, and we are completely ignorant to these things, and they drive our lives in many different ways and controlling our basic needs and functions. For example, the most important one would be water. Now, the human body is composed 70% water, and so being composed of water, we have to maintain that level of water for basic function. And so when we have a deficit of water, then there are many different signs that the body will send out to let us know that, hey, there's a problem here. We got to fix this right away, or else it's going to be a serious issue. One of the most common ones people might see is dry skin. And black folks be like, oh, man, I'm ashy. I need to put some lotion on. Yeah, your skin is ashy, but your cells are draining up. They're being dehydrated. And so dry skin is a common form of signaling your conscious mind, your conscious body, that you need more water. There was a book back in the day.
Headaches. Don't forget headaches.
Yes.
We had a deep ass conversation about this shit a day or two ago. Sometimes you're getting a headache, you reach for a Tylenol, not realizing you should be reaching for the glass of water. Dehydration is real. And what happens is that we've been convinced that it's a medical condition when it's simply your body telling you that you need something, and you ignore that because what? You're arrogant? No, you just need some water.
And then, but see, you spoke to something there where you said people might be arrogant. Yes, there are a lot of blockheads out there that cannot take a hint. There are people out there that will need red flags waved in front of their eyes, literally from their cellular body, to let their conscious mind know that, hey, dummy, you need to drink some water. But many of these people do not listen to these things and cannot take a hint at all and wind up hospitalized or losing a kidney or losing a foot or on dialysis. And so another example of how people will be deficient in water is asthma. Histamine. Histamine is vital. It performs vital functions in the regulation of water in the human body. But if you merely allow yourself plenty of water and fluids every day, you will balance the histamine control function inside the body. Now, this happens in two different ways. It can regulate asthma attacks for people who have asthma, and it can also alleviate allergy symptoms. So, one thing I noticed in the South down here is that it's crazy. There's so many trees. There's so many flowers, and in the state of Georgia in particular, you get here and you be like, wow, the city of Atlanta is a city surrounded by a jungle. Like somebody just took a city and just plopped it right into a jungle. That's Atlanta. If they stop cutting the grass and trimming the trees, within 6 months, this place would be overgrown. You know how you watch those shows on Discovery Channel, Life, or Earth After Life, you know what I'm saying, or After Human Beings? Yes, it would be like that. It would be just overgrown cities and some post-apocalyptic looking shit. So getting back to water and allergies, I noticed that there was something that was causing me to sneeze. And I did an experiment where I would take some water and I would hold it in my mouth. And I realized that, number one, my throat stopped itching. And then number two, the sneeze reflex went away. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. Water is somehow related to this histamine reflex control mechanism. And so then I started to drink more and more water, more than I do normally. And I noticed that the sneezing started to subside and my eyes stopped itching. I'm like, oh, so water is definitely a curative, or water definitely has curative properties. And then I began to see that people who never drink any water had really, really bad allergy symptoms. So I'm like, okay, so there's something to this here. So then I came across this book called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And this book is tremendous because it speaks to the different signals that your cells will give your physical body to let you know the reservoir is drying up. And so in this book, it details how things like headaches, things like allergies, things like even heart attacks, things such as inflammation from aches and pains are definitely related to lack of water. And so by drinking more and more water, you can alleviate a lot of this misery in your life.
I think what my brother's really trying to say is that we're so arrogant and we believe that you can take a pill to fix something. We believe that going to a doctor, when the truth of the matter is, doctors don't cure you. If they cure you, that's a patient, that's a customer gone. So they're not going to tell you, hey, you need to consume 20% more water. You know, drinking 6 glasses of water a day is not enough. They don't even ask you how many glasses of water you drink a day. Remember when we were kids, we were told you have to have 8 glasses to be properly hydrated. They don't even say that shit no more. You know, you don't have general practitioners. You got specialists, and they got to pay for school. So if you get cured or you get healed, you ain't coming back. So they do not really care about you getting well. And this whole water thing is so crazy because, like, for instance, sneezing is natural. You know, they have a thing called histamine blockers. When you take like an allergy medicine, it's history. They don't tell you to take more water. They tell you, oh, well, take this histamine blocker. You won't sneeze, blah, blah, blah. Look, everything from orgasms, all that shit is controlled. If you take a histamine blocker, you can't do certain shit. It stops you from sneezing, but sneezing is actually healthy for you. It helps you get something out of your body that should not be there. And you're missing that. So the whole idea of modern medicine is a hustle. It's a pill to stop you from doing something, but it'll cause something else to happen. It'll cause side effects. And that's another conversation we had. The side effects from these drugs are on purpose. Side effects are not by accident. If you're telling me that here, let's break this down. My boy, when I first got diabetes, my boy Roscoe on the other end, he was still like, "Hey," he said, "Man, you need to check out some of this Chinese medicine. They've been dealing with diabetes. Right. They've been dealing with diabetes for thousands of years.
Ghostface killer got cured from that.
Yes,
from Chinese medicine.
And so." Now, for the record, when Roscoe tells you something, I make fun of him because he be all over the place. But you got to understand that it's true. And what hit me to the fact that he was right was Dr. Sebi. When somebody asked Dr. Sebi about diabetes, he said it's too much. He said too much starch. Too much starch in your system affects your pancreas, and he broke this down. But again, if you ain't ready to get the message from God or whoever is giving you the message, you know, you ain't gonna get it because you've already made up your mind that diabetes is some uncurable shit, or diabetes you were born. So he's telling you it's too much starch. Your body wasn't designed to consume that much starch. Well, then, like I said, Roscoe said, hey, check out Ghostface, check out this Chinese medicine. And then you realize that there are countries like India and China who consume a lot of rice, who've been consuming a lot of rice for many years. So they've been dealing with it, with diabetes on a different level for many years because that's a big part of their diet. If you're consuming a lot of rice, you're going to have excess starch. Even with being fat, one of the things I realized that when you fast, because that's the whole thing Dr. Sebi was big on, you need to fast for 10, 20 days and blah, blah, blah. And we're all told that if you don't eat, you're going to die. Well, what if you're eating the wrong thing? You're going to die. So you really got to pay attention to when you fast, you're doing what's like a reset on your computer. You're doing a reset on your body. You're getting all the shit out your body that's fucking you up. And so you fast, you poop it all out, you shit it all out, you sweat it all out, whatever you do, and you get the stuff out your body, then you don't have these crazy cravings. We also talked about, when you talk about nanomites and little things affecting your well-being, your mental well-being, well, a lot of the food we consume is not meant for us to consume, like sugar. Like we get it. Sugar is a chemical. We ain't talking about maple syrup. We're not talking about motherfucking honey. We're talking about granulated sugar. So your body can't break this down. So what does it do? It produces these enzymes in your stomach to break down the sugar. We're consuming too much sugar. So what happens when these enzymes are still in your stomach and you have no more sugar in your stomach? your body will actually crave sugar because you got to use up these enzymes. So now, what are you doing? Causality, cause and effect. Now, because I got enzymes, I got to taste of chocolate. So all of a sudden, you are craving something you don't need. All because you got to get rid of those excess enzymes your body produced to break down the sugar that you don't need. Sounds silly, I get it, but you got to recognize that that's why fasting is so important. If you fast, you force yourself to get the sugar out your system, those enzymes will go away. You hear about probiotics all the time. You hear about all this different stuff with probiotics and these different things, these different bacteria in your digestive, in your gut. And you also, you hear a lot of these Muslims and a lot of these healthy guys say your second brain is your gut. Your gut is your second brain. Based on what you put in your stomach, based on what's breaking down in your small and lower, your upper and lower intestine, it affects how you behave and how you think. It affects your desires. It's crazy to think that something that small can affect you, but it does. And I'm not saying you got to be conscious. You're not an animal. So if you sit there and recognize, like, you know what, this, you got to break down your behavior. Like, my behavior ain't healthy. I shouldn't be doing that. Sometimes you got to go against your gut. You got to fight against it and put the right things in it. But when you consciously recognize the situation, then you got to handle it. But in the meantime, you go into Starbucks a lot. You can't afford to go to Starbucks. you buying $7 lattes and shit. That's because you are addicted to caffeine. The other thing is, I get migraines. One of the things is when you go through caffeine withdrawal, there are severe migraines. But so while you're trying to get off of something, you may go through some shit.
Okay.
You may go through the crazy shit.
All right. First of all, need to walk back something real quick. I'm not all over the place when I tell people shit. I'm not all over the place when I tell you something. This is the problem. I speak directly. I'm very direct when I speak because life is short. Motherfuckers die. And we don't have time to waste. So,
no, my boy he reads. Oh, hold it. My boy reads a lot. He's into a lot of subjects. So it's crazy when he reads something.
What it is, I will throw a javelin right into your cerebral cortex, and there's not going to be any sugarcoating on that shit. And be like, if you stand on that curb right there at the corner during rush hour, too close, you probably gonna get smacked in the face with a side mirror from a truck. Back up, okay? So I'll just come straight at motherfucker like that. So, headaches. You're getting headaches primarily because you have energy stuck in your head. So, you're a trifold being, mind, body, and spirit. And so, this energy that's accumulated in your head is partially because of there is a blockage there, but mostly because there is a deficit of water. You're dehydrated. People drink coffee, and it dehydrates you. Coffee dehydrates you. You have so many people that don't drink water. I don't like the taste of water. Well, it's not for you to fucking like the taste of it, man. It's for you to survive, you dum-dum. Or I'll just get the water from the drinks that man, listen. You are causing your kidneys to go into overtime and separate all that bullshit to get a little bit of water out of it so it can survive. You are essentially being the cheapest motherfucker around, okay, when it comes to breaking bread with your own family. Basically what you're doing is you are ordering a fucking pizza with all the toppings on it, and you taking some toppings off the pizza, put it on a plate, and hand it to your family like, there you go, you can eat that. That's essentially what you're doing.
What you're doing to your body. You're doing that. You're doing a lot of bullshit just to get a little bit of a justification. It's not worth it. Just drink the shit directly. Drink water. Force yourself to drink water.
And also, you're not drinking water for pleasure. Water is for maintenance. These same knucklehead ass people will be absolute gear wrench monkeys. You know what I'm saying? Like all gearheads and motherfuckers that don't want to fucking drink water. Man, they're probably really good at repairing shit. And be like, oh, don't do that to your car. And don't put this in your car. I'm like, dummy, all this shit you're telling me to not do to my car, you need to take that same advice and apply it to your body. Well, I don't like the taste of water. Okay, good luck living for another 10 years.
Look, if you want an example of how dumb people are, check out that movie Idiocracy. They break that shit down. Remember they had a sports drink in there. They were making fun of Gatorade. And they were basically saying that because in the commercials it says Gatorade is better than water for your body. So these dumbasses started putting the Gatorade and stuff on the plants, and the plants all died. And they said, he's like, hey, why aren't you putting water on it? Don't you know Gatorade's better than water? And so, and their logic is because these commercials said it was better than water. They started using it on the plants, and of course, all the plants died. People started starving. I know that's an extreme case, but if you pay attention, that's some real shit. We sit here and lock into these commercials. You know, we lock into when I keep bringing up doctors, you know, a lot of big pharma is nothing but a commercial. Big pharma is a life-size commercial, and they're trying to push pills on you. They're trying to push different treatments on you that don't cure you. They just treat it, and they maintain. And if you recognize that shit, because back when we were kids, that cured shit. You know, I remember Chris Rock, which I don't like him as a comedian, but he said some deep shit. Said doctors ain't curing shit no more. But if you pay attention, that's some deep shit. They're not curing. They're not looking for cures. They're looking for treatments. A treatment means you're going to come back. If a drug dealer can give you a drug that would make you happy all the time and you never had to go back to him, he'd be losing it. Oh, whoa, hey. Nah, my nigga. No. We ain't gonna give you something that's gonna make you good all the time. I'm gonna give you something that makes you feel good temporarily, and then you're gonna keep coming back. You know, so recognize that this there's a term it's called manufactured obsolescence. What that means is that
cell phones.
They intentionally, yes, cell phones, computers, they intentionally give you something that's going to be obsolete within 7 years. One of the deepest things that I found out about that caught me off guard, how long does a light bulb last?
What do you mean? When used continuously?
Yeah. How long? What is
a conventional light bulb or an LED light bulb?
Whichever one you want to give me, because I'm gonna blow your mind on this one.
Well, okay.
Hey,
I can answer that question for you. So light bulbs, I used to sell light bulbs. So light bulbs pretty much they last for the life of the element on the inside.
Yes. There's a firehouse up in, I don't want to give the wrong state, up north, where they have a light bulb that's over 120 years old. The original filaments in light bulbs were meant to last for 100 years.
There you go.
And so they had to whoa, wait a minute. And I forgot the name of the company, but GE bought that company, and so they own that patent. So of course they only put the filament is going to burn out in a year and a half. But actual old school light bulbs, there's a light bulb that's actually over 105 years sitting there, and nobody changes it. It just works. That's because that's called manufactured obsolescence. They know, okay, our product is too good. Nobody's going to come back and buy it. So we got to actually tone that shit down some.
Check this out. There's another story about a light bulb. So I was told this back when I was selling light bulbs to the movie industry. And I was told a story about this light bulb that was found in Savannah, Georgia, under some steps in a house that was built in the late 1800s.
Yep.
And I guess this light bulb had rolled under the steps, was placed under the steps somewhere in the early 1900s, 1910s. And they took the light bulb. This had to be in 2015. They took the light bulb, they screwed it in, and it worked. The fucking light bulb worked.
But people don't understand. Light bulbs back then were designed, and once that company realized, hey, we're going to go on a business if we keep producing these great light bulbs. Crazy, but that tells you right there. I posted this thing on Facebook, and I pissed some people off. I said, okay, so you want you want the vaccine from Johnson & Johnson when they were screwing us over on baby powder. They knew in the 1950s that baby powder caused ovarian cancer, and they continued to make it up until 2010 or whatever, and then lawsuits started happening and they stopped. So you mean to tell me that this ain't just about money? So you'll trust them with a vaccine, but you can't even trust them with baby powder? Their baby powder had asbestos in it. The talc had particles of asbestos, which cause, not may cause ovarian cancer. So that should tell you right there that these people are unscrupulous, and it's only about business. So until you recognize that their business is not taking care of you, their business is taking your money, as that changes the whole idea of what you call health. It changes the whole idea of what you call medicine, whatever you want to call it. So that's one of the big things is that it's really hard as a diabetic. It's hard for me to cut back on starches. I like French fries, but once you realize that that's a big part of it, you cut back. You start cutting back. All of a sudden, your numbers are going down. When you fast, people like to tell you, you're a diabetic, you got to eat. Nah, I'm good. I fast 2 days a week. I'll fast 3 days a week now. I just pick whatever day I want and just don't eat that day and go the whole thing. My numbers are cool. what you have to understand is that your health is your responsibility, and that when these things start taking over your, like I said, the reason we call this headmasters is because what we're saying is that there are things that are small that are dictating shit to you. I remember I had an argument with somebody one time about pheromones and hormones, and I was like, I'm
Wait,
working at this.
wait, no, hold your fire.
Now,
Not yet.
okay.
Not yet. No, no. First of all, we hit you in the head. Now we're gonna hit you in the gut. Your gastrointestinal tract, your GI tract, will have serious issues if you are not getting enough water, if you have a poor diet, and if you are not getting enough sleep. So the enzymes that are created, billions and billions of them are created in your gastrointestinal tract. But the production of them, or the level of them, the amount that are living in your gut will rise and fall depending on what you're eating and how much you're sleeping and how much water you're drinking. So a lot of people that are grown at some point start to experience bubble gut. And that's when you eat something and then you feel, you start hearing that. That's your body saying, hey man, this shit ain't cool. I don't like this. Something going on. I don't know what the fuck this is, but something that you used to eat, it's hard for you to eat it now. And part of the reason that is because you are going in a direction, diet-wise, that has limited the production of beneficial enzymes. And so because of this, your body is sending you a signal saying, hey man, I don't like this, and I'm about to show you what's going on. I'm gonna show you what's up. I'm about to show you, hey, stop eating this shit or fix the situation down here.
See.
Right. And so you may become a citizen of grenade ass. What am I talking about? Explosive diarrhea. So by doing so, by avoiding proper diet and proper amounts of sleep and drinking enough water, your body starts to revolt. Your body will revolt on you so many ways, but your intestinal tract is a very good example of that. And so by taking things like acidophilus capsules, which will regrow the beneficial bacteria in your gut, it helps to bring the balance back. But here's another thing. Fasting at least twice a year in the spring and in the autumn are the best times, and here's why. When you fast, and when I say fast, I'm not talking about I'm not going to eat hot dogs for 7 days. No. I'm talking about you are not eating any solid foods and you're drinking only liquids in the form of water and vegetable juices. Not fruit juices, because that's all sugar. Vegetable juices, because you need the minerals and the vitamins and the healthy enzymes. And so here's the thing. You need to at least fast for 3 days, because in the springtime, all the energy that was down inside your body, the same way the life was inside the earth in hibernation, it all comes back to the surface. You see, we are children of earth. And so because of that, our body mimics everything that the earth does. So when the earth goes dormant in the wintertime, in the autumn, all the energy goes down inside your body and you're in a survival mode. And then when the springtime comes and all that energy that was down inside the earth comes and down inside your body comes to the surface, you start to have these euphoric feelings like, oh, I have more energy. Oh, I feel good. And why is that person over there so attractive? Blah, 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 blah. Because everything is alive again. And so you're refreshed. But this flux, this moving back and forth from down inside the body back into the surface, there's also a fluctuation of the toxins that have been stored in your body. The glyphosate or glyphosate that is in these genetically modified foods that we eat. All right, the glyphosate, what it does is that it was designed to kill bugs, but what it does is it was meant to rupture the stomach of these bugs. So now you have a lot of people who eat this food that was grown from crops that were treated with glyphosates. And so therefore, what happens to these bugs, because you're eating such a high volume of these grains.
So much.
And hold on. Whoa. Because you're eating so much of this, such a high volume, you are now getting the same dosage that bug was out in the pasture. So now you have a leaky gut. The lining of your stomach is rupturing, or the lining of your intestines are rupturing because of the glyphosate that is in these genetically modified foods. So,
see, the problem is you think because you're eating vegetables, you're eating healthy. You know, that's how they get you. You're like, okay, so I had 16 salads today, but because the minuscule amount in each salad of these glyphosates is building up in you, it's causing you to have long-term health issues. Because you think I'm going vegan, you think I'm going vegetarian, you think like, hey, shit, I ain't had no milk, I ain't had no dairy, I ain't had no meat, I should be doing awesome. Next thing you know, you got cancer, cells full of all, and that's the whole crazy part. Our boy Dick Gregory broke that shit down. He said, how come all these damn vegans are having so much cancer? It's because they're eating soy. Soy was not meant to be consumed by people. You eating soy because you think you need protein, not realizing that shit's causing cancer. It wasn't meant to be consumed.
Okay, but wait. Here's the thing, though. But soy was consumed for centuries, thousands of years in Asia. So it was
different form. Yeah,
but here's the thing, though. Soy was meant to be consumed by humans, but the manner that we use it in the West is different from how they use it in the East.
Yes.
And also, all this soy grown in America is treated with glyphosates. Yeah, you know the word. So anyway, listen. What I'm saying is, because of the factory farming methods of the West, it is slowly killing people and poisoning the landscape. It's not regenerative farming. It's not putting anything back into the earth. It's just taking. So
don't forget, well, we learned that shit from George Washington Carver. Like you got to rotate your crops.
Mm-hmm.
You know, cotton. Remember, he's the one who saved the South. Cotton was killing the South. It was literally leaching all the nutrients out the land. So they started doing peanuts and sweet potatoes. They started rotating crops.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even the soy I was referring to is that when George Washington Carver was trying to help the government produce like plastics and stuff, he was using soybeans, and one of the byproducts was that's one of the byproducts. They started using it for food, and that's not what he intended it for. Now, what you're saying is going all the way back to Asia. They've always used that stuff, and so it was different. Now, here's something else that you always hear these health gurus say, and it don't make sense to you. They always talk about these fat people are starving. You're like, what do you mean they're fat? What happens with your body when you introduce a chemical in your body does not recognize? What does it do with it? It actually stores it as fat. So you got people, high fructose corn syrup and things like that. These are chemicals that are so sweet and so sugary, your body actually cannot recognize it. And what does it do? It actually stores it as fat because it's like, look, it's not a nutrient. It's not this. It's not that. Let me just store it as fat and we'll use it later. So when you hear these people say, oh, these fat people are starving, they're literally storing all the chemicals that they're consuming when they eat like fiery Cheetos and weird shit like that. That's food-like substance. It's not really food, but it's food-like. And so your body can't break that shit down. So what does it do? It stores it. That sounds completely ass backwards, but it's true. So you could be consuming all kinds of different foods. You're reading the labels of these motherfuckers. That's another thing they do with you. It says nutritional. What does it say on the back? Ain't no nutrition in that motherfucker. But you're reading labels. You're
nutritional value.
New shit. Yeah, ain't no value there. And so you're consuming these food-like substances, and your body can't break it down. It doesn't recognize it. It stores it. So that's why you got these people getting super fat, because they're not eating fruits and vegetables. They're not eating stuff. And even then, like my homeboy told you, you got glyphosates. You know, so suppose they were eating the right fruits and vegetables, they got to make sure they're cleaning them properly. And that's why you hear so many people say about buying your seeds from Norway and buying your seeds from overseas, where Monsanto and companies like that are illegal. The reason they're saying that is because they're trying to get you to buy seeds that are not GMO, genetically modified organisms. You're trying to find seeds that aren't like that. And so, but that's one of the things that happens, that you're eating this cereal because it told you it was healthy, and it has high fructose corn syrup in it, and so your body's just going to store that, and you're going to get fatter and fatter, even though you're consuming. It's not. But it's not.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. That corn syrup is made with corn that was treated with glyphosates. So not only is it doing that, but it's also rupturing your gut. And okay. If people don't understand what leaky gut is, look it up, because it's some creepy, weird, and kind of scary shit at the same time.
Oh no, it's all that. It's scary. More and more people have IBF, that irritable bowel syndrome. Why is that happening? Well, here's the thing that bugs me. Why do we have so many new diseases? You know, people were going around for years and didn't have these diseases. It's because we're
Factory
consuming
farming.
shit. Yes, we're consuming shit that wasn't meant to be consumed, and they put it just because they put it in a box does not make it food. Stop looking at a box.
But no, the
The
crazy part
box
is that
says
the Europeans have the sense to be like, no, you're not bringing that shit over here. They saw all this factory farming and genetically modified foods and saw what Monsanto was doing. They was like, that shit's banned. You're not bringing that bullshit over here. France ain't going for it. The UK ain't going for it. Spain ain't going. Germany, they like, we don't want that bullshit, man. Like, we see what's going on with this, and it's not the way.
here's a big issue. I know y'all love Biden, but he just made the head of agriculture a guy from Monsanto, a former, I don't want to give the wrong information, former head of Monsanto is now like in charge of our agriculture. How the fuck does that work? And then the bill that gave Monsanto all the power was done under our boy Barack Obama. Check that shit out. You can't make this shit up. So if how come the same company is illegal in these other countries, but it's legal over here? And don't get me wrong, some there are shit that goes on. You got corruption in other countries too. So we're not saying it's just about corruption. What I'm saying is that you need to check that BBC news. You need to check that news from overseas, and then use your discernment to put that shit together. And like, okay, there's some shit. There's a banana in the tailpipe. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
All right, so coming back to the body and to the gut. So what I was saying is that you need to go on a fast at least 3 days in the spring and in the autumn, because what that is going to do is going to reset your gastrointestinal tract. It's going to reset your sleep patterns, because you're not going to have enough energy to go ham and go crazy. So you will have to get the minimum amount of sleep for your body to heal and repair itself during this fast. And as a matter of fact, you should really take at least an extra day off of work and to do 3 days of fasting over a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that way it's not impeding your work life. And you can actually be at ease and avoid dis-ease while on a fast. And so it's going to reset all of your systems in your body because it's flushing them out. And the two parts of your body that are really important for cleansing and fasting are your liver and your kidneys, because your liver and your kidneys are like the fuel filter and the oil filter in a car. If you don't change either of those in the car, you're going to have hella problems, and they're going to pile up quickly. So this is the thing. We're looking at the body for so many years. We've always thought of the body as something that was just, we could put a pill in, we could take pills, and we could just, we thought it was like this dumb mechanical meat bag,
a meat machine.
Yes, a meat machine.
You just do whatever to it.
So, yeah, like it was like just some kind of meat machine. So the problem is, it's not. Your body is a collection of sentient systems. Yes, because your cells have intelligence, and your cells create tissue, which create muscle, which has muscle memory, but there's also cellular memory. And so there is a level of awareness in these cells. So people are taught that your cells just regenerate and they just divide until you die. The problem is that your body will do this at the expense of your vanity, at the expense of your body parts, to keep that brain and the heart alive. Look at old people. Old people are literally falling the fuck apart because that body is taking all the resources from the muscles, and the muscles start shrinking. It's taking all the resources from the fat to keep it warm. It's doing everything it can to keep the internal organs warm and functioning and the brain alive. Your body will tell you to go fuck yourself, fuck your couch. I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep this meat bag alive. And so to keep the meat machine alive, that vanity is the first thing he's going to go. When people start getting gray hairs, that is a mineral deficiency. People don't realize it, but like your body is pulling things from your bone marrow to keep you alive. It's leaching everything. So how do we slow these things down? How do we get this back into control? How do we get it in control and in harmony with our conscious and subconscious mind? You have to exercise. Exercise is something that you do to help not only sweat and clean yourself out, but also to regulate the blood flow and keep your muscles toned and keep your libido up. Okay? So there's all these things going on, but see, your intestinal tract is tied to exercise. Running, swimming, lifting heavy shit repetitively, martial arts, yoga, all of these things are related to your intestinal tract. So what it is that your entire body, your living physical experience, you're a DJ and you don't even realize it. And you got to keep that rhythm smooth and flowing. You got to keep cutting and scratching and making it interesting, or else that fucking record is going to skip, that CD is going to skip, that fucking MP3 is going to start getting corrupted, and the song flow gets, people in the party be like, yo, this DJ ain't shit. I don't like this fucking music. And they start walking out. What is that? That's your body revolting. Those people walking out of the party is your body revolting against you. And so that's muscle failure. That's organ failure. That is the eventual death of your body. So we have to slow it down. Slow it all the way down. Okay? So you got to take that crossfader and take it from a mid-tempo song into a slow jam. All right? But you got to do that like a truly skilled DJ. And you got to do that in a way that is barely even noticeable to the listeners. That's your body. So you have to control the flow of that music, the mix. You got to make a fly-ass mix that's going to keep the heads nodding in the cells of your body. What I'm truly saying is you got to work on yourself. See, if you exercise, if you have sex, if you create something, you are appealing to your inner nature. And then what that does, that improves the quality of your life. Because when you make good love, it calms you down. When you work out and you have a good, challenging workout, you're pushing your levels. Now, you don't have to push it. That's medicine. It's medicine. But it's energy medicine. It's soul medicine. It's physical medicine. It's all of them, because you're a trifold being, as I keep telling you. So you have to do this, because every time you go out and you start working out, there's music playing. There's music playing in the cells of the organs. The great church organs in your temple are playing when you start exercising. The great church organs are playing when you are fucking and it is feeling good. Okay? The church organs are playing your fucking song when you are on stage jamming. When you are like when you're creating a work of art, when you're painting, when you're creating music, when you're writing something, when you're writing stories, when you're telling stories, when you're writing poetry, the church organs are jamming. They're playing the holy gospel. The holy gospel of, insert your name, the holy gospel of your life. But you have to do the work. If you don't do the work, your body will revolt against you. So you want to go up in that church and have a Holy Ghost good time. All right? Look, some of you may not be worshipers, but I'm going to speak to the motherfuckers that are worshipers. There have been times that you have gone into a church or you have gone to a temple and you have come out and you have felt renewed. There are times you have gone into that place of worship and it has rejuvenated you because you were downtrodden. And you walk out of there and you felt like the priest or the pastor or the guy that was teaching in the temple, or the monk that was teaching in the temple, was speaking directly to you because you needed to hear that. Well, the same applies for your maintenance. Maintain yourself. Man, there used to be a term back in the day in hip-hop, you got to maintain. What you doing? I'm maintaining, dog. I'm maintaining. What that meant was I'm holding it down. I got it under control.
Yeah.
Also, I'm at harmony with myself. I'm maintaining. Harmony is maintaining. Yes, it is. So you got to maintain. You got to work on your maintenance of yourself. See, make enemies with that voice in your head that wants you to chill all the time. Because that motherfucker will get you killed. They'll get you killed slowly or quickly.
Sometimes that's a voice of depression, and y'all don't want to admit it. You know, I never understood this whenever they talk to like schizophrenic people and they got the voices in their head. How come you always listen to the voice that tells you to do bad shit? Listen to the voice that tells you to grow flowers. Listen to the voice. Nobody, look, the reason you don't recognize that you're depressed is because it's become a lifestyle. You know, sleeping in it's become a lifestyle. You know, you not doing. You know what? I'll work out next time. That becomes a lifestyle, and you don't recognize that those little chemicals that are being produced have normally when you're down they're being produced. Now they're being produced all the time. You got to recognize that shit. Stop listening to the negative shit. You know better. You have discernment, so you got to be like, okay, hey, you know what? I know I need to get up off my ass and
okay,
work out.
Stop right there. At that point, stand up. Stand up. At that point, as soon as you get the feeling, stand the fuck up. Okay? I ain't got no shoes on. Go put your shoes on. It's cold outside. Put a fucking coat on. All right? You were a kid. You played outside in the snow. Put a fucking coat on. Go outside. Go for a walk. That fucking simple. Do not listen to anything else. Babe, we got to go. I'll be right back. I got to go for a walk. What's the matter? I'll be fine. I got to go for a walk. I got some shit on my mind. I'll be right back. Go outside and go for a walk. And matter of fact, if there are hills around you, walk down it, because you got to walk back up that motherfucker to get back to the house. The reason is because you got to put your heart under duress to get back up that hill. You got to elevate your heartbeat. You got to elevate your pulse and your breathing to get back up that hill. And the whole point of that is to push yourself and exercise. Make it happen. Put yourself in a stressful situation physically. Make yourself do it. Knock yourself out of ease. Not into dis-ease. No. Knock yourself into a place where you have to work. Your body has to feel it. So, hey, man, listen. You don't want to do it. Don't turn that shit off. Turn all it off and just do it. Because that's when you just stop talking. Turn off the internal dialogue. When you turn off the internal dialogue, all the chatter stops. Now, some of you have no idea of what I'm talking about. I'll elaborate. There are moments where you have noticed that you're not talking to yourself anymore. There are moments where you're like, damn, it's quiet. And at that point, don't ask any more questions. Just keep going with it and see what you experience. Because once you turn off the internal dialogue, there is clarity and there is solitude. Man, I have found solitude while I am bench pressing 50 pounds over my limit. I have found solitude while I'm squatting 100 pounds more than I'm supposed to. I found solitude while I'm running, and at the point of me wanting to stop, I just keep going. And you reach this flow state.
That's that Japanese focus, that clarity.
There you
focus.
go. Speak on it.
I think here's something that, like, when I've suffered from depression. I got on medicine, got fixed, and you got whatever you want to call it. And when you go through that shit, like, when I've always found a way, like, to pray my way through certain things. And again, you know, whatever you believe in spiritually is cool. But where I realized I had a serious problem is that you would go to pray and I couldn't hear his voice. I couldn't focus on God's voice. I couldn't see. It was like, you know how when you're on the telephone and you're talking to somebody, but the background noise, the kids playing, the cars driving by is much louder than the person you're focusing on. That's how I felt. Like, I couldn't focus on what God had for me. And when I realized that the background noise had got so bad to where I couldn't hear, that's when I realized, you know what? So this is usually when I pray, I get some kind of respite. I get some kind of, and I'm like, okay, I'm not getting that. I'm not getting the peace. I'm not getting what I normally get. There's something going on with me, and I had to sit down, figure it out, analyze the situation. What stimulus was fucking me up? What's in my life that I need to get rid of? Start asking things. Start forcing myself to work out. Got some meds. Took that for a while. But you know, sometimes you got to eliminate shit. And whether it's poor diet, whether it's poor people, or whether it's, you know, whatever it is, you got to eliminate that shit. And so, like I said, it was so difficult to hear what God had for me. And when you recognize, like I said, I know it sounds crazy, but until there are certain things in your life that would always bring you back to square one. And when those things stop working, what the fuck do you do?
Okay.
And so,
check this out.
That's where you are.
I'm gonna give you something that you can use. All right.
I read comic books. Don't read comic books
Hey,
too.
they're great. Let the church say amen. So here's the thing, man. Recall joy. Recall joy. All right. Recall times in your life as a child, as a teenager, as a early young adult, when your body felt amazing. Recall that. Recall that feeling. It's in there. It's in the archives. It's in the library of your cells. Recall that. Recall moments where you felt absolute euphoria on a physical level, because you can go there again. Go there first in your mind, and then take your body there to reach that physically. Because when you recall that type of physical joy, there's something that washes over your entire being. You remember this moment of effortless being. And this state of effortless being exists in you. The only problem is you have so many layers and such a patina of shit on top of it. You have to chisel it with a putty knife now to get back down to that level. Well, what I'm telling you is something that will crack that egg of shit that is around that effortless joy, that effortless being. Recall it first mentally. Close your eyes and bring it into your mind's eye. Feel it with your whole body. Feel this memory not with your mind. Feel this memory with your entire body. Your chest plate, your back, your neck, your leg muscles, the soles of your feet. Clench your fists, the palms of your hand. Recall that power. Bring it into the core of your being, just like the way Goku would, or Ryu on Street Fighter would create an energy ball and throw it at an enemy. Create this energy ball of effortless being and bring it into yourself. Now, the next thing is to act on that. Act on that. Drop down and do push-ups. Go to a stairwell and walk some stairs. All right? Put on some running shoes and go for a run. Smoke a spliff and do some yoga. Limber up and stretch. You have to stay limber throughout the entire course of your life. Look at old people that do yoga. They move in a way that old people that don't do yoga don't move. All right? So if you study people that do yoga, their muscular skeletal system is aligned with their consciousness. Pay attention to the way you're sitting. Are you slouching? Are your shoulders soft? You got some soft ass shoulders? Did you used to have some big ass fucking bowling balls in your shoulders? What about them motherfuckers now? I know you look at yourself in the mirror whenever you fucking about to get in the shower. You sitting there, butt ass naked in front of in the mirror like, man, we gotta tighten this shit up. That's real. If you ever want to check of yourself, look in that mirror when you naked. That will tell you whether or not your mental is healthy.
Everything you need to know.
Everything you know. Whether or not your energy levels are tapped off. Everything will tell you right there when you go look in the mirror. Because that mirror doesn't lie. And that mirror is yourself. But hey, like I said, recall the joy. And seize it and act upon it. Seize that carpe diem. Seize the day. So what I'm saying, man, is that stop overthinking shit. For real. Stop overthinking shit. Like, yes, that was a thought exercise, but that was a thought exercise to recall muscle memory, cellular memory, to bring you out of the current state of sloth that you are in. Sloth slides into death. Because you're going to slide right to your coffin.
Look, people get scared. They create fake scenarios in their head, like, oh, I can go jogging, I can get hurt. Or stop creating fake scenarios, hurting your own feelings, putting yourself at jeopardy. You know, right now, you keep hearing us talk about COVID this and COVID that, and people are so scared they don't know what to think. A fake scenario can have real fucking ramifications. You understand what I'm saying? If you're so scared that you can't properly function, if you're so scared that you won't rise up, you're so scared. Look, all I keep hearing, a few months back, that whole shit that went down in Washington when the motherfuckers stormed the Capitol for no fucking reason, but they did. So all I keep hearing black people say, if a black person did that, they would have got shot. How the fuck do you know? Because you ain't got the balls to do it. You keep telling me about gun control, motherfucker. You know, a fake scenario, a fake situation can stop and it can have real ramifications. If you're scared of getting hurt, or if you don't eat right, like, you know what, they tell me I shouldn't eat red meat, so I'm eating nothing but these vegetables. They ain't real vegetables. So, like I said, these fake scenarios can really affect you, and you got to understand what's reality and what's not. And hell, these reality shows are affecting you. You watch the TV thinking that's your life. You know, you keep hearing motherfuckers talk about rich people doing shit. Oh, girl, I saw this motherfucker said the funniest shit. They were talking about Michael B. Jordan that did something for his fiance, and some bitch was like, oh, "This is real, true love," and she's like, "Nigga, stop imitating rich people. Go pay your bills." You know what I'm saying? You know, if set the shit up so you can have the same relaxation and enjoyment. And one thing is making your money work for you and not working for your money, passive income. You hear all that kind of different shit. You know, set it up so that you can have some time to take care of yourself. Working hard is cool, but if you work too much and you kill yourself, what do you have left? You need you. You need you to be here to do these things. So I know it sounds butt ass backwards, but you got to create your own well-being, your own paradise, your own relaxation. You got to create those situations.
Okay.
And like I said, one of the things we do, I've been reading comics for years. You know, that's one of the things I do. I'll go pop into bed, read 5, 6 of them motherfuckers in a row. You know what I'm saying? Find your place.
Okay. So getting back to the headmaster's topic and how the cells of our body give us messages. Here's an example. Smell is actually one of the things that attracts people to one another. And people don't realize it. And at first used to trip me out because I used to work with this chick. And she'd tell me how she would go on these dates. And then she was like, no, that didn't work out. No, it didn't work out. She's like, but this guy, I really like the way he smelled. I'm like, weird. That's weird as fuck.
Really?
Yeah. And then I started
I got you beat.
Go ahead.
Hey, do you remember in college, these chicks told me how much they like to smell of gas? Like literally, we were walking because, you know, I went to Langston, Little Black School, so we were walking and they had just put some gas in at this gas station, and they're like, "Oh my, I love the smell of gas. It turns me on." So I'm like, "What?" So I'm walking, different chick, but they both from the East Coast. They both were from like Virginia and New York, and they were like, "Oh, I love the smell of gas. It turns me on." I'm like, "The smell of gas turns you? What? So fuck my aftershave." I need to put some fucking high octane on. Nigga.
Right,
is
97.
Some pussy?
Hey. So
serious.
So the reason why is because it's tied to your immune system. There was a test that was done, and they gave about 50 women shirts of men that they had of different types. Put these shirts on, wear them for like an hour, and then take them off. And they had the women sniff the shirts.
And which one was healthy?
And
subconscious. That's deep.
So, but the crazy part is, like, the women preferred the smell of shirts worn by men who were immunologically dissimilar to them. So, this meant that these men had superior immune systems. So, in that situation, the genes, right away, the genes smell that. You see that? It bypassed the brain and went straight to a cellular level, past the olfactory senses when they smell it, and then they send a message to the genes like, hey, this is somebody good to mate with. So, women, what they'll do is, on a man, they'll hug you and they'll put their face in your chest and they're smelling you, right? A man will hug a woman and he'll smell the back of her neck. You see? So, crazy part about it is, I recall doing something like this in junior high school. I had this girlfriend.
Not realizing it.
I had this girlfriend, and I liked the smell of the back of her neck. And I was like, what is that about? I don't know. But I never really questioned it. And then, you know, it makes sense now because this is all based on immune systems and mating. You see, all this stuff that is built in to keep us alive, to keep our genes alive, that we have no clue about. We just say, I like the smell of that person. And we have no clue how our genes are driving us around like this big-ass earth-moving truck that's filled with all this dirt.
forcing you in directions that you just can't imagine. That goes back to what I was telling you about the argument I had at this job. This is in college, and we were arguing because I'm trying to say, hey, so are you talking about hormones or pheromones? And she's like, this chick, I'm trying to say, hey, your body produces pheromones. You literally, your body gives off pheromones, and people, and she's like, do you mean hormones? Like, no, pheromones. No, you mean hormone? I'm like, dude, stop. I know what a fucking hormone is, but I'm saying pheromones. And like I was explaining to her that there's actually cologne that has pheromones in it. Like most cologne actually has pig pheromones. That's terrible. But there's like one or two colognes that actually have human pheromones. And when people smell it, it's almost like a love potion. It actually attracts people to you. And that's what my brother's trying to tell you about your subconscious mind, not even realizing once your body starts detecting this, it's going to react. And, sometimes it's unconscious. You got to be like, oh, you know what? That's not a good idea for me. This one night stand ain't the best way to go, whatever. But yes, these chemical markers, your body detects them whether you know it or not.
Right. Now, this thing that I'm referring to is called MHC. That's major histocompatibility complex. And it's the way genes create proteins that the immune system uses to recognize pathogen. And so, yeah, that's deep stuff right there, man. That is an entire workflow that is totally invisible to our conscious mind. And yet our body is doing this. See, because listen, okay, another thing is when we're attracted to people, first it's visual. So I got a certain type of woman that I like, some nice hips, nice ass, legs are very important. Legs are very important. Eyes. Titties are good. Titties are good. They're not the highest on my list, but titties are good.
That's you. Hey, but another thing is a pretty smile. I had braces. Growing up, I had braces. So
I'm all about the eyes.
So if I see a great smile, I'm like, oh shit, that's some smile and some dimples, nigga. Oh my goodness.
Right. So, but here's the thing though. All these things draw you into a person to get close enough to smell that person, because. There's sometimes you might meet people and you'd be like, yo, so how'd it go? I'm like, she ain't the one. What do you mean? Well, I didn't like her. Why didn't you like her? It's sometimes people can tell you exactly why they didn't like a person. There might have been their personality or something like that. There were some chicks I didn't like because they didn't smell pleasant. I didn't like the way they smell, and it wasn't the perfume. It's like their body had a smell to like
their essence. They have an essence.
No. I don't. I hit it, but I'm gone. I'm quitting it. I'm out of here. Like It was a disturbance in the force. But all these things that we're speaking on are these silent processes that are being run by the armies inside you. And they're fighting wars against bullshit all the time. And, one of those things happens to be dehydration. I'm going to tell you another thing that is strange to those who've experienced it is sleep-deprived hallucinations. One time...
Oh, yeah, I've had that before.
Yes, yeah. Listen, I have been on film sets working up for 27 hours, 28 hours, 34 hours. And I started to have the most trippiest visions in my head. If I could draw this stuff and write it down, it would look like the craziest stuff you've ever seen. But all that is my body trying to freak me out so much that I sit down. Because once I sit down, I'm going to close my eyes. Once I close my eyes, I'm going to lay down and I'm going to go to sleep.
I could tell you, I was driving. And I actually pulled over to get some sleep, but I dreamed that I was still driving. I was dreaming there were polar bears and squid on the interstate coming after me and shit.
What the fuck?
I remember behind it was the St. Louis Arch, and I wasn't even in St. Louis. You dig?
Oh my god!
So I woke up screaming, and my homeboy like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, because I was driving this nigga to rehab. I'm like, "Look, I'm taking your ass to rehab," literally. And I was like, dude, I'm so glad that I pulled over because I was seeing the shit before.
Because them polar bears and them squids would have got you.
Dude, hey, I can't make that shit up, nigga.
Polar bears and squids, wow, they're on the same team. Like, get him, he's right there.
we want him. Like, what the fuck? But When shit like that happens, you can't forget it.
Was
You know,
this like a
you
giant
file.
squid, like a kraken?
Oh no! The polar bears were bigger than the squids. These were like cuttlefish, like the medium
But it
sized
was like a
ones. You know what I'm
bunch of them
saying?
though, and they moving fast
Yeah,
as shit.
yeah, they're about 3 or 4 feet, and then the polar bears were behind them. Like that was like the second wave, nigga. I remember that shit clearly. I
Second
was in
wave,
Kansas when that shit happened.
like it's an
That was,
alien invasion.
nigga. Look, y'all laugh, but until it happens to you, which I hope it never does, I hope you never go through this shit. But when you go through it, like for real, it's like I need sleep. Your body is telling you in no uncertain terms that you need to shut that shit the fuck down and get some rest. And the problem is that we don't read our own body language anymore. We don't even read our own from our own book.
You know
anymore
that you know
because
what's happening when you're becoming sleep deprived. You are slowly microdosing DMT,
oh,
and the DMT dosage starts to increase with the greater amount of sleep deprivation. So that's why you start seeing fucking polar bears and squids chasing you up down the interstate.
fuck y'all, I ain't making that shit up. But here's the issue: is that you'll blame yourself for mental health. You'll put all this other shit, not recognizing that you need rest. And the thing is, maybe you can't sleep. Maybe it is mental health. Maybe the reason you can't sleep, you got some shit on your mind. But the fact of the matter is that you're not getting your proper rest. Same thing with the whole with the headaches and all the shit you're getting because you're not drinking enough water. You're convinced that if I drink something, it's equivalent to water. What you're drinking is not the equivalent to water. Your body's not made of Gatorade. Your body ain't made of coffee. Your body ain't made of motherfucking Coca-Cola, my nigga. But your body's made mostly water. So it needs that to function properly. If your cells don't have enough water, this is what Ross was trying to tell you. If your cells don't have enough water, they don't have the proper pressure, they will not work right. And so people just get arrogant. And it's one thing when you don't have water for a couple of days, but what happens when that becomes your lifestyle? Going back to what I was saying about the depression, it becomes a lifestyle where I don't drink water at all. And all of a sudden you're sick. You got all these issues and the doctor gives you a pill and you're like, well, he's a doctor. He went to school for 8 years. He knows what he's talking about. When the bottom line is your grandmother told you need to be drinking water. Your great aunt told you your back hurts, your kidneys hurt. You need to drink water. So yeah, these are signals, and you're ignoring the signals. If you're driving your car and you see it's overheating, don't you pull over and you put something in it? How come it doesn't work for your body? That's why my boy's been giving you analogies all motherfucking day. That it's the same thing. Your fucking gauges are telling you like, hey, headache. I got diarrhea. My nipples hurt, nigga. What the fuck? Come on, what else I got to do to you to tell you that we need water?
Okay. To wrap this up, I'm going to give you one last analogy. I'm going to make this very, very simple. When you deprive your body of essential things, there's a breakdown. And to use the state of Texas and its crisis with snow and the snowstorm that happened in the month of February, what happened is you had a shutdown of systems. So let's look at your body as the state of Texas. The snow shut down everything. And these people were without water, electricity, heat, and food. So there, those four things right there, okay? They had no water, and people couldn't bathe. People ran out of water to drink, all right? People were without electricity. That's like your arm or your leg going to sleep. Sit on your leg for 30 minutes and then stand up. It's going to be hard to put any weight on that foot. So it's like that leg is pretty much useless. That's electricity. That's like having a stroke and half your body doesn't work. The electricity goes out. You can't move. You can't function. Then, okay, well, at least I can drink some water. Now I don't have water either. And so now systems are shutting down, okay? We don't have any heat, and my body temperature is dropping. My organs are in danger. There's no food, so I can't eat anything. Now what's happening is my muscles are going catabolic. They're eating themselves to stay alive. So when you're without food and you can't go to the grocery store, what are you going to eat? You're going to look for animals outside. You're going to forage for something to try and find something to eat. Your body is like the state of Texas during that snowstorm crisis. And when you don't have the essentials, everything falls apart and chaos takes over. Therefore, you have to have backups just in case the water is cut off. You got to have backups. All right? You got to have these backups and ways to prevent the system from shutting down completely, premature death. So, what I'm talking about here is the maintenance of your body. Do things that's going to get you back into balance. Repair the fortress of solitude if the walls have collapsed. Rebuild that fortress of solitude and go back in there and be at peace. But you only get to there by struggle and work. Struggle is necessary. You weren't born without struggle. Your mother struggled to bring you into the world. And with breath and muscle contractions, you were born. But you have to learn how to take care of yourself in a way that you haven't been before. Because what you've been doing before has been shit. And you know what? Some of it is our fault, and some of it's the fault of the captains of industry. But listen, we're beyond that now. Now you have to take control, and you have to drink plenty of water. You got to get plenty of sleep and exercise, because you are that DJ creating that perfect mix to keep their organs inside that church, inside the internal temple, in the church of the silent church of muscle memory. You want to keep that organ playing the gospel, playing these songs of praise. Keep you in a state of harmonium. So, take better care of yourself and live your best life by pushing yourself, resting yourself, and eating quality food. That's all I got. We out. Peace.
Holla back.